Call a florist and ask what a few table arrangements cost for a birthday dinner. Write down the numbers. Then call back an hour later, describe the exact same flowers, the same vases, the same date. And this time say the word wedding. Watch the number climb. Nothing about the flowers changed. The only thing you added was a word. That word does something strange to a price. It doesn't describe the product any better. A rose is a rose whether it's going on a birthday table or a head table. But the moment a seller hears wedding, a quiet switch flips. And the same goods start costing more, sometimes a lot more. This isn't a rumor passed around by bitter couples. In 2021, 4 researchers, Nancy Albers, Amy Wren, Tammy Knotts, and Marcia Chupp, published a study in the Journal of Consumer Policy doing exactly what you just imagined. They priced identical items as wedding versus not wedding across the board. The wedding version cost about 53% more, same object. Half again the price just for the label. The examples are almost funny. One church rented its hall for $300 if you called it a wedding, and $100 if you called it a renewal of your vows. Same room, same chairs, same afternoon. A limo company wanted $900 to drive a wedding party, and $600 for the identical car on a regular night out. A shoe store quoted $80 for a pair of bridesmaid shoes and $60 for the exact same. Shoes bought for prom, same salesperson, same shelf, same day. So what are you actually paying for? Because it isn't the flowers and it isn't the shoes. What the word wedding really tells a seller is this. It tells them how much you're willing to lose before you'll walk away. And that number, not the cost of the goods, is what sets the price. Think about how a price normally gets decided. A seller quietly guesses the most you'd hand over before you shrug and leave. For a birthday, that number is low. It's a Tuesday, you'll cut corners, you'll say, close enough. For a wedding, that number is enormous, and everybody in the room knows it. You've been told your whole life, this is the biggest day you'll ever have. You will not be shopping for wedding flowers again next month to compare. And close enough feels like a betrayal of the person standing next to you. So when the seller hears wedding, they're not learning about your event. They're learning about your ceiling, and they price right up against it. There's a second trick riding along with the first, and it's about the size of the total. The average American wedding now runs about $34,200. According to the Knotts' most recent survey of more than 10,000 couples. Once a number that big is floating over your head, every single line item shrinks next to it. An extra $200 on flowers against $34,000, that's a rounding error. Except there are 40 of those rounding errors. The cake, the chairs, the linens, the lighting, the little upgrade on the invitations. Each one feels too small to fight about while you're standing inside a decision this big. That's how the ceiling gets reached, one harmless step at a time. Consumer Reports caught the same thing happening in the wild. They sent secret shoppers to call vendors twice. Once asking about a wedding, once about a 50th anniversary party, same date, same guest count. In more than a quarter of cases, the wedding quote came back higher for the identical service. They also turned up cake-cutting fees of around $7 a slice buried in the fine print, and gratuities baked in as high as 26%. Little charges that only ever seem to appear next to that one word. Now some of the gap is real. A wedding can genuinely be more work. A Saturday in peak season, a tighter timeline, a client who understandably wants everything perfect. An honest vendor charging for actual extra hours isn't robbing you. But that explains a slice of the difference, not 53% of it. And it definitely doesn't explain the same shoes costing more because a different teenager is wearing them. Most of that gap has nothing to do with work. It comes from the word. And the strangest part is that you help it along. That same study also looked at the buyers and found that brides themselves expected to pay more for wedding items and were willing to do it before any vendor said a thing. Somewhere along the way, you absorbed the idea that a wedding is supposed to be expensive. That spending is how you prove it matters, so you walk in already braced to pay the premium. The seller isn't picking your pocket, you're holding it open. This lands on your money in one specific place. The price of almost anything is a quiet negotiation between what you want and what you'll tolerate losing. The word wedding ends that negotiation before it starts, because it announces to the whole room that you'll tolerate losing almost anything. So the fix isn't a coupon or a clever haggling script. It's refusing to hand the seller your ceiling for free. Get the price for a party of 120 people first. Ask what changes specifically when it becomes a wedding and make them name the actual extra work. The flowers don't know what day they're for. The only thing that ever made them cost more was you. Telling the florist exactly how much this one meant.